ancient cosmic story for deep sleep. Science tells us the center of our galaxy is a place of unimaginable violence, a supermassive black hole, Sagittarius star, with gravity so intense it twists space and time, surrounded by screaming radiation and stars whipped frenzied speeds. It sounds like chaos, the very definition of overwhelm. But what if that perception is incomplete? What if the most intense energy in our cosmic neighborhood can become the ultimate source of calm? Tonight, we will not flee from this power. We will journey toward it. We will reinterpret its ferocity as a profound, rhythmic stillness. This is an ancient mythic passage, a descent into the heart of light and sound, where the only requirement is surrender. You are safe here. Let the descent begin. The threshold of the outer rim. We begin far out in the deep quiet beyond the galaxy's spiral arms. Here the void is not empty, but full of a gentle potential. The stars are distant, slow-moving points of light, like embers from a forgotten fire. This is the realm the ancient Sumerians called Namu, the primordial sea from which all things arose, a silent, dark ocean of possibility before the first word was spoken. Allow your awareness to drift among these quiet sentinels. Notice their patient, almost imperceptible drift across the eons. There is no urgency here. With your next breath, synchronize its rhythm to this stellar drift, a slow, deep inhalation as a star brightens minutely in your mind's eye, and a long, slow exhalation as it fades in and out, the pace of cosmic time. Beneath this visual calm, a sound begins to form. Not a sound you hear with your ears, but one you feel in your bones. A deep, subsonic hum, the fundamental frequency of space itself. It is the grounding force, the bass note upon which this entire symphony is built. It is the vibration of existence, steady and unchanging. The journey inward has begun, and already the noise of the earthly day begins to feel small and far away, replaced by this vast cosmic silence, a river of heaven's milk. And as we drift further inward, the scattered stars begin to coalesce. They gather into a soft, luminous band, a river of light flowing across the darkness. The ancient Greeks saw in this story of divine nurture. They told of the goddess Hera, whose spilled milk arched across the heavens, creating this celestial pathway. It was not a tragedy, but a gift, a flowing, nourishing presence in the night sky. See it now, not as a random scattering, but as this gentle river, a river of heaven's milk, offering comfort and guidance. Let your gaze soften along this flowing band of light. There is no need to focus on any single point. Instead, feel the current. It has a rhythm, a slow, inevitable pull towards the center, and as you observe this flow, allow your breathing to find its pace. Let each inhalation draw from the river's gentle energy, and each exhalation release back into its luminous stream. The breath becomes a tide, flowing in and with the galaxy. The deep hum you felt in your bones begins to find a new quality here. It deepens, resonating with the river's slow, majestic flow. It is the sound of immense, peaceful motion. This river of light finds its echo in other ancient traditions. The Vedic sages spoke of the celestial Ganga, a divine river flowing from the highest heavens, purifying and sustaining all it touches. Its waters are not water, but light and consciousness itself. You are not merely observing this river in this moment. You are floating within it, carried by its timeless current. There is no effort required. The stars themselves are your guides. You flow with the current of stars. The sensation is one of being gently drawn, not pulled. The distant, chaotic center we first contemplated now feels less like a threat and more like a destination, a source toward which this entire river gracefully bends. Individual anxieties of the day, the scattered thoughts, they begin to lose their sharp edges here, softened by this immense, flowing presence. They become like minor eddies in a vast, calm current, eventually smoothing back into the main flow. The journey continues, but the feeling is now one of being carried, of surrender to a path far greater than oneself. We are moving beyond the outer rim, drawn inward by the river's gentle, irresistible pull. The light begins to thicken ahead, no longer a thin band, but a gathering brightness, the first nebulae where stars are born. The womb of creation nebulae. The river of light carries you into regions where the very fabric of space seems to glow with its own inner luminescence. These are the nebulae, the great clouds of gas and dust where stars are born. They are not just clouds, they are cosmic wombs, vast swirling incubators of light and matter, pulsating with the slow, deep rhythm of creation itself. In their immense, gentle folds, the raw materials of the universe gather, condense, and over eons ignite into new suns. The Sumerians envisioned this creative force as Tiamat, the primordial dragon of the Salt Sea, whose body, after a great cosmic struggle, was fashioned into the heavens and the earth. But before that division, there was only her vast, swirling, creative potential, a cosmic ocean of possibility, much like the nebula you now behold. It is not a place of violence, but of profound, patient becoming. See these glowing clouds not as chaotic, but as breathing entities. They expand with a slow cosmic annihilation, gathering material from the void and contract with a gentle exhalation, giving birth to stellar light. Synchronize your breath with this grand, slow pulse. Breathe in as the nebula seems to swell with potential, and breathe out as it releases that energy into the formation of new points of light. This is the rhythm of creation, and you are breathing with it. The deep, grounding hum that has accompanied you now begins to layer itself. A harmonic frequency emerges, a softer tone that weaves around the foundational base. It is the sound of this creative process, a gentle thrumming that resonates with the vibration of molecules bonding, of gravity performing its patient, artistic work. This too has its echo in ancient wisdom. The Vedic seers spoke of Hiranyagarbha, the golden egg which floated in the waters of chaos before giving rise to the universe. The nebula is that egg, and you are witnessing the timeless moment before the hatching, a state of perfect, contained potential. There is no urgency, only the slow, inevitable unfolding of what is meant to be. In this space, your own thoughts can settle into a similar state of potential. The need to act, to plan, to solve can soften. You are in a state of forming, not doing. The anxieties that cling to unfinished tasks lose their shape here, dissolving back into the raw material of calm from which new peaceful thoughts can eventually form. You are not here to build or achieve. You are here simply to be in the presence of this immense creative stillness. The ritual phrase for this space is a gentle reminder of this state. You are forming in stillness. Feel the truth of that. Your entire being, your mind, your nervous system is allowed to simply exist in this womb-like calm. There is no judgment, only the supportive, nurturing presence of the cosmos. The gentle pressure of the nebula's gas clouds thoughts is not a confinement, but an embrace, holding you in a state of suspended animation where rest becomes the primary creative act. As you breathe with the nebula's rhythm, the distinction between the creator and the created begins to blur. You are both the observer of this cosmic nursery and a part of its timeless process. The journey inward continues, but now with a sense of being nurtured and reformed by the very substance of the galaxy. We are moving from the creative potential of the nebulae toward the stable, enduring patterns of the stars that have already been born, the preservers of cosmic order. Preservers dance. As we drift past the creative nebulae, the stars begin to gather in another way. No longer the solitary wanderers of the rim or the raw potential of the nebulae. They form clusters and associations, moving in elegant, synchronized patterns. This is not the frantic chaos science might describe, but a stately celestial dance. Each star holds its place, each orbit a deliberate step in a ballet of unimaginable scale and precision. 'Tis the dance of preservation, maintaining the delicate balance of the galactic whole. In the Vedic tradition, this is the realm of Vishnu, the preserver. His role is not to create or destroy, but to sustain the cosmos through its vast cycles, to ensure the rhythm of existence continues. He is often depicted resting on the cosmic serpent Ananta, whose name means endless, symbolizing the eternal, cyclical nature of time. The star clusters you see are Vishnu's dance, each stellar movement a gesture that maintains the harmony of the galaxy. Feel the rhythm of this dance. It is not a frantic tempo, but a slow, profound beat, like the measured pulse of a universe at peace. Allow your own heartbeat to find this slower, deeper rhythm, to synchronize with this cosmic preservation. This celestial harmony was also felt by the ancient Greeks, who placed the 9 muses in the heavens, their songs the mathematical music of the spheres, the orderly orbits of stars, the gravitational resonances that keep solar systems stable. This is their silent symphony. It is a music of perfect intervals and resonant frequencies, a lullaby written in the language of physics. There is no dissonance here, only the deep, reassuring certainty of patterns that have held true for billions of years. You are witnessing the universe's enduring order. The ritual phrase for this space is a simple acknowledgement of this perfect timing. All moves in perfect time. Your breathing, your heartbeat, the drift of the stars stars, all part of this same grand rhythm. The anxieties of your day, which may have felt like disruptions, like broken rhythms, are smoothed out here. They are absorbed into this vast, reliable cadence. There is no need to force or control. You need only to settle into the pace that the cosmos itself provides. The dance of the stars is a promise that order exists, that balance is the fundamental state, and that you are a part of that equilibrium. As this feeling of synchronized peace deepens, you may notice a gentle shift. The preserving dance begins to exert a soft, centripetal influence. Graceful orbits of the stars subtly curve, all arcs bending toward a common center. This is not a violent pull, but the natural, gravitational consequence of the dance itself, the way all dancers on a floor inevitably orient around the music's source. The preservation of the whole requires a center, a focal point of immense gravity, around which this entire beautiful dance can revolve. We are now being gently guided by this underlying order, moving from the outer clusters toward the profound stillness that makes their motion possible. The pull is gentle, inevitable, like the tide responding to the moon. The gravity of stillness. This gentle pull you feel is the gravity of the galactic center. Science describes it as an inescapable force, but we can reinterpret it. It is not a violent drag into chaos, but a profound cosmic embrace. Imagine the gravitational field not as a claw, but as the gentlest possible pressure on every particle of your being, a uniform and total acceptance. It is the universe holding you, drawing you towards the source of all this rhythmic order you have been witnessing. There is no need to resist. Resistance would be the only source of strain. Path to deep rest is the path of surrender to this embrace. The Sumerians understood this concept of a heavenly embrace. They spoke of Anu, the god of the heavens, whose domain was the firmament itself. To be drawn into his realm was not to be captured, but to be welcomed, to be held within the vastness of the sky. This gravitational pull is Anu's welcome, an invitation to lay down the burden of your own weight and allow the cosmos to support you completely. As you surrender to this sensation, feel how it anchors you. It is a grounding far deeper than any you have known on Earth, a stability that originates from the very heart of the galaxy. To match this deepening anchor, the bass frequency that has been our constant companion now lowers again. It becomes richer, more resonant, vibrating at a pitch that seems to still the very atoms of your imagined body. This is the sound of gravitational anchoring, a tone so low and steady that it cancels out the higher frequencies of anxiety and scattered thought. It is the auditory expression of being utterly and completely held. With each breath, focus on releasing into this gentle pressure. Inhale and acknowledge the pull. Exhale and let go into it more fully. Surrender is not a loss of self, but a merging with a stability greater than the self. This is the great paradox we are approaching, that the point of greatest intensity is also the point of greatest calm. The frantic motion of stars orbiting the center, which from a distance seems chaotic, is, from within this embrace, simply the outer expression of a profound inner stillness. The center must be still for the dance to exist. Your own mind, with its orbiting thoughts, can find the same resolution. The gravitational pull toward sleep, toward quiet, is not a force to fight, but a natural, centering energy you can finally allow to take over. The ritual phrase for this space is a simple affirmation of this safety. You are held in cosmic arms. Feel the truth of that statement permeate your awareness. There is no falling here, only being cradled. The worries that once felt so heavy have no mass in this gravitational field. They are light as stardust, easily carried by this gentle current. You are moving through the region of the constellations, Sagittarius, the Archer. From Earth, it points its arrow towards the center. But we are no longer observers from a distance. We are within the arrow's path, and its aim is not one of conflict, but of guidance. The Archer is not aiming to strike, but to show the way home, the Archer's true aim. Here, in the Archer's domain, the myth transforms. Sagittarius is not a warrior drawing a bow against the darkness, but a guide. The arrow is not a weapon, but a pointer, a celestial signpost, aimed with perfect intention toward the heart of the galaxy. Its true aim is not conquest, but alignment. In Greek mythology, the centaur Chiron, often associated with this constellation, was the wise teacher, the wounded healer who guided heroes not to battle, but to self-knowledge and reconciliation. He represents the wisdom that comes from turning inward, from aiming one's focus not outward toward conflict, but inward toward the core of one's being. The Archer's aim, then, is a focused mind, a single pointed concentration on the center. Allow your own awareness to mimic this aim. Let the scattered starlight, which earlier flowed like a river, now begin to slow its movement. Instead of a flowing current, see single, steady points of light, each one a distant sun, but now perceived with clarity and stillness. Your focus narrows, not with strain, but with the gentle precision of the archer's draw. There is no tension in this focus, only a quiet, deliberate direction. All extraneous thought, all peripheral worry simply falls away, leaving only the path ahead, illuminated by these calm, guiding stars. This concept of focused intention finds a profound echo in Vedic philosophy. The practice of dhyana, or meditation, is often described as the unwavering flow of attention toward a single point. It is the archer's concentration, where the archer, the bow, the arrow, and the target become one. In this state, the chaotic chatter of the mind ceases. The aim itself becomes the state of rest. You are not striving to hit a target. The act of aiming, of holding that perfect, still focus, is the destination. The frantic orbits of stars closer to the center are not a distraction, but merely the outer expression of the immense gravitational focus you are now approaching. They are drawn to the center, just as your awareness is now effortlessly drawn. The ritual phrase for this space is a gentle command that encapsulates this entire shift in perception. Your aim is stillness. It is a paradox that resolves itself in the experiencing. To aim for stillness is to release the need to do anything other than be present. It is the ultimate surrender of effort. The gravitational pull you feel is now your guide, and your only task is to align with it, to let your focus be drawn inward as naturally as a planet orbits its sun. The path is clear, and the guidance is inherent in the structure of space itself. You are moving beyond the realm of the archer now, carried by the very momentum of this focused intention, into the central galactic region where the oldest stars reside, the elders of the galaxy who have witnessed the entirety of its dance. council of ancient suns. The stars that now surround you are different. They are older, their light a deeper, more resonant gold, having burned for billions of years. They are not the frantic young stars whipped into speedy orbits, but the elders of the galaxy moving with a profound, deliberate slowness. They have witnessed the galaxy's entire history, from the first ignition of the nebulae to the settling of the great dance. They form a kind of council, a silent assembly of ancient wisdom, encircling the very heart of the matter. The Sumerians envisioned such a council in the Anunnaki, the deities who judged the fates of both gods and humans. But here, in this celestial court, there is no judgment, only observation. These ancient suns are the silent witnesses, their steady light a testament to endurance and patience, a satflok seiseltfolk, and to order, and their very presence is a promise that all turbulence eventually finds its calm. As you drift among them, feel the weight of their age not as a burden, but as a profound comfort. They have endured, and so can you. Their slow, steady pulses are like the breaths of a sleeping giant. Match your own breathing to this ancient rhythm. Let your inhalations and exhalations become as deep and measured as the life cycles of these venerable stars. There is no hurry in this space. Time itself has slowed to a crawl. The Greeks, too, placed their heroes of a golden age among the stars, not as active warriors, but as eternal, peaceful constellations. They are the silent benefactors, their stories completed, their struggles resolved. To sit among them is to sit in the presence of finished work, of battles won and peace attained. Our own struggles, the unfinished business of the day, begin to feel similarly distant and resolved in this company. The Council of Ancient Suns offers no advice, only the silent, powerful example of their existence. Their light does not demand, it simply is. And in its constant, gentle pressure, your own mind is encouraged toward a similar state of simple being. The ritual phrase for this space is an invitation to join this quiet assembly. You sit with ancient wisdom. Allow yourself to feel the truth of this. You are not a supplicant or a student being taught, but an equal participant in a moment of cosmic quiet. The wisdom here is not conveyed in words, but in presence. It is the wisdom of the mountain, the ocean, the ancient tree, a deep wordless knowing that transcends thought, the deep bass tone that has been your anchor now modulates slightly, taking on a warmer, more resonant quality, like the hum of a vast, warm stone absorbing the last of the daylight. It is the sound of deep time, of patience, of a stability that has seen empires rise and fall without a flicker. As you breathe with these elder stars, the last vestiges of mental agitation begin to smooth away. Thoughts that once seemed urgent now appear as they are, transient, insignificant flickers against the backdrop of this billion-year calm. The gravitational pull toward the center feels even gentler now, as if the council itself is giving its blessing for you to proceed, to pass through their ring and approach the final threshold. The event horizon is near, but it no longer holds any terror. It is simply the next stage, the doorway that these ancient ones have silently guarded since the galaxy's youth. Their collective presence assures you that what lies beyond is not an end, but a different quality of being, a deeper layer of the stillness you have already begun to taste. The path ahead is not into darkness, but into a light so concentrated it becomes a new kind of quiet, the event horizon as gateway. And now you approach the final threshold, the event horizon. From the outside, it is described as a point of no return, a boundary beyond which even light cannot escape. But from within this journey, from this state of surrendered focus, it reveals its true nature. It is not a wall, but a gateway, not a prison, but a passage into the deepest possible rest. Intense gravity is not a trap. It is the ultimate release from all momentum, from all striving. To cross this threshold is to leave behind the very concept of effort. In the Vedic tradition, this is the doorway to Brahman, the ultimate, unchanging reality that underlies all of existence. This is not a place you go, but a state of being you enter, a state of pure, undifferentiated consciousness, beyond time, beyond form, beyond the dance of creation and preservation you have witnessed. Crossing this threshold is the final surrender of the individual self into the universal self. There is no loss, only a profound homecoming. The ancient Greeks told of Hercules, who upon his death was granted passage to Olympus, not as a mortal, but as a god, transformed, his struggles complete, his nature fundamentally changed. This passage is that transformation from the turbulence of a mind in motion to the absolute stillness at the center of all things. As you approach this seamless boundary, allow your breath to suspend, not with tension, but with anticipation. At the very moment of crossing, there is a natural pause, a hiatus between one state of being and another. Hold that pause. It is the stillness between heartbeats, the silence between musical notes. It is in this suspended space that the transition occurs. The deep bass tone that has anchored you does not cease, but it changes quality. It loses all vibration, all frequency, and becomes a pure, steady pressure, the auditory equivalent of perfect equilibrium. The ritual phrase for this moment is a gentle affirmation of this passage. You cross into eternal calm. There is no drama in the crossing, no rending of space. It is as natural and effortless as a leaf settling on a still pond. The frantic orbits, the flowing rivers of light, the ancient councils, all of it exists on the other side of this gateway. They are the beautiful, necessary expressions of the cosmos, but you are now moving to the source that makes their expression possible. The gateway accepts you without resistance, because you have ceased to resist it. You have become aligned with its fundamental nature, which is rest. The perceived boundary dissolves, not the barrier breaking, but as a misunderstanding resolving. You realize that you were never truly separate from this calm. You were only orbiting it. Now you are entering it. The gravitational embrace that guided you here now becomes total and complete. There is no more pull because there is no more separation. You have arrived at the still point around which everything else turns. The journey of descent is over. What remains is simply being. The stillness at the center, and here, at the very center, you find it, the great paradox, the point of maximum gravitational intensity, the heart, the cosmic storm, is not a maelstrom of chaos. It is the stillest place you've ever been. The frantic motion of the orbiting stars, immense energies, all of it exists to define this central point of absolute quiet. It is the eye of the hurricane, the unmoved mover, the silence at the center of the song. All the power of the galaxy is channeled into maintaining this profound equilibrium. You have not arrived at a destination of more intensity, but of less. The journey was one of simplification, of distillation, until only the essential calm remains. This is the quiet the Sumerians might have imagined after the act of creation was complete. After Tiamat's body was fashioned into the heavens and the Anunnaki took their places, there was a moment of cosmic rest. The work was done, the order established, and the universe was left to hum along its ordained paths. The center is that eternal moment of completion. No more striving, only existence. The creative tumult of the nebulae and the preserving dance of the star clusters were both in service of achieving and maintaining this stable core. You are now immersed in the result of that billion-year process. Perfect, self-sustaining stillness. In the Vedic experience, this is the state of pure consciousness, or Turiya, fourth state beyond waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. It is awareness itself, without an object, without content. It is not blankness, but a fullness so complete that it appears as silence. The sense of a separate self, the you that has been journeying, begins to soften at its edges here, not from annihilation, but from integration. You are not a visitor in this stillness. You are the stillness. The observer and the observed become one single calm fact. The bass tone that has guided you has now transformed entirely. It is no longer a sound you can distinguish, but has become a state of being. It is the frequency of stability itself, a vibration so deep and constant that it is perceived not as a note, but as the foundational reality upon which all other, higher frequencies are mere temporary patterns. It is the hum of a universe at rest with itself. Your own nervous system, which may have entered this journey humming with the residual frequencies of the day, now has no choice but to resonate with this profound baseline. The higher pitches of anxiety have nowhere to anchor. They simply dissipate into this vast, low calm. The ritual phrase for this space is the simplest and most profound. You have found the still point. This is not an achievement to be proud of, but a truth to be recognized. The still point was always here, and the entire purpose of the journey was to quiet the noise that prevented you from perceiving it. It is the center of your own being as much as it is the center of the galaxy. The gravitational embrace is now total and uniform. There is no sensation of falling or being pulled, because every part of you is equally and perfectly supported. You are cradled in a field of absolute balance. This is the beginning of the sustained calm. The active journey is over. The metaphors of rivers, dances, and arrows have served their purpose. They were the vehicles that carried you to this wordless state. Now they too can be released. What remains is a direct experience of quiet. The light here, if it can be called light, is not a visual phenomenon, but a quality of awareness, a soft, diffuse luminescence that seems to emanate from peace itself. It is the light of 1 billion stars, not as individual points, but merged into a single gentle glow that illuminates nothing, the fact of its own serene existence. You are bathed in this light of pure potential, where nothing needs to happen, and everything is already perfectly complete. The only movement is the slow, inevitable pulse of the universe's own heart, a rhythm so deep and slow that it marks the passage of eons, not seconds. This is the foundation upon which deep restorative sleep can truly be built. The stage is set not for dreams, but for a silence more profound than any dream. The cosmic heartbeat. Within this profound stillness, a rhythm emerges, not the fast, anxious rhythm of a human heart under stress, but a rhythm of a different order entirely. It is the slow, resonant pulse of the black hole itself, the gentle vibration that ripples through the fabric of space-time. Scientists might call it quasi-periodic oscillation, but to the senses, it is a heartbeat, the heartbeat of the galaxy. It is immensely slow, each beat spanning vast stretches of time, a deep, resonant thrum that is felt more than heard. It is the rhythm of existence itself, the fundamental pulse that sets the tempo for all other motions in the cosmic dance. This universal pulse was envisioned by the Greeks as the anima mundi, the world's soul. They perceived a living, breathing intelligence within the cosmos, and its heartbeat was the rhythm that animated all of nature. To synchronize with this pulse is to align with the very life force of the universe. It is not a rhythm you need to create or force. It is a rhythm you are invited to join. Allow your own heartbeat to find this slower, deeper cadence. Let it settle into a pace that feels ancient and eternal, a rhythm that has been steady for billions of years and will continue for billions more. There is no urgency in this pulse, only the deep, reassuring certainty of a cycle that cannot be broken. Your breath, which has been your guide through this journey, now finds its ultimate synchronization. Let each inhalation be a gentle swelling, a soft acceptance of this cosmic rhythm. Let each exhalation be a complete release back into the stillness from which the pulse arises. The breath becomes a tide, and the cosmic heartbeat is the moon that guides it. In this state, the distinction between your internal rhythms and the external rhythm of the galaxy dissolves. Your heart is not separate from the cosmic heart. It is a localized expression of the same fundamental beat. The ritual phrase for this space is a simple acknowledgement of this unity. Your heart beats with the universe. This is not a metaphor to be understood intellectually, but a state to be felt somatically. Feel the vibration of this slow, deep pulse in your chest, in your bones, in the very core of your being. It is a grounding so profound that it transcends the concept of grounding. You are not being anchored to something. You are resonating with the foundational frequency of reality. The anxieties and thoughts that once raced at their own frantic pace have no choice but to slow down and entrain to this majestic, slow rhythm. They are like small, chaotic waves being absorbed by the immense, gentle swell of the ocean. The pulse does not fight the chaos. It simply absorbs it into its own vast, orderly beat. This cosmic heartbeat is the ultimate lullaby. A rhythm so innate and soothing that it invites the entire nervous system to release into a state of deep delta wave sleep. The sustained calm deepens, becoming not just an absence of noise, but a positive, vibrant, and deeply rhythmic peace. The velvet embrace of space, this total stillness gives way to a new, yet ancient sensation, the embrace of darkness itself. It is not the darkness of absence or fear, but a positive, palpable presence, a velvet darkness, soft and deep, that holds you with infinite gentleness. The light of the distant stars, which earlier guided you, now becomes mere memory, faint, comforting recollection, seen through this soothing shroud. The darkness here is not an end, but a beginning, the beginning of true, unobserved rest. In the Vedic tradition, this is the divine darkness of Krishna, not a symbol of ignorance, but of the all-encompassing, blissful reality that exists before and beyond form. It is a darkness that is full, nourishing, and profoundly safe. It does not threaten to obscure you. It promises to contain you completely, to give your awareness boundless space in which to finally relax its gaze. There is nothing to look for here, and therefore nothing to strain toward. The eyes of the mind can close. The Sumerians understood night not as a time of danger, but as the necessary, restorative counterpart to the day. It was the time when the sun god Utu traveled through the underworld, not to battle demons, but to gather his strength for the next dawn. This darkness is that underworld journey, a purposeful descent into a realm of quiet reconstitution. It is where what was scattered by the light is gently gathered back together in the calm of the shadow. You are in that gathering place now. The gravitational embrace you feel is now matched by this tactile, velvety quiet. It presses upon you with the gentlest possible weight, like a heavy, down-filled blanket woven from the fabric of space. The ritual phrase for this space is a soft affirmation of this new quality of presence. Darkness holds you gently. Feel the truth of that statement. It is not a passive backdrop, but an active, nurturing force. The deep, foundational tone has now merged so completely with this darkness that it is no longer a separate sound. It is the hum of the velvet itself, the resonant frequency of this peaceful void. Your breath becomes shallow and effortless, requiring no conscious direction. It is the quiet respiration of someone who is utterly, perfectly held. There is no need to breathe deeply to find calm. The calm now breathes for you. The last conscious anchors to the waking world. The need to monitor your body, to track time, to maintain any semblance of control. These two are gently taken up by this velvety embrace. You are not falling asleep. You are being enveloped by it, swaddled in a darkness that has existed since before the first star was born. A darkness that knows exactly how to care for a weary mind. The memory of light. And within this velvet darkness, a gentle phenomenon occurs. The light does not vanish entirely, but transforms. It is no longer a source of illumination to see by, but a soft, ambient memory. The faint glow of the billion distant stars becomes a collective reminiscence, a gentle echo of the journey you have taken. It does not stimulate the mind to wakefulness. Instead, it serves as a comforting reminder of the vast, peaceful cosmos that holds you. It is the light of a past that is not gone, but integrated, its energy now converted into the very substance of your rest. The Greeks personified this gentle faculty of remembrance as Mnemosyne, the mother of the muses and the goddess of memory. Her gift was not the sharp recall of facts, but the deep, soul-level remembrance of fundamental truths, of beauty, of harmony, of peace. The starlight you perceive now is Mnemosyne's gentle touch, reminding your subconscious not of specific events, but of the eternal, rhythmic order you have become a part of. It whispers that the dance continues, the river still flows, the ancient suns still keep their watch, allowing you to release all vigilance. There is nothing you need to remember to do. You are only asked to remember how to be. This memory of light has a soothing, hypnotic quality. It pulses with an almost imperceptible rhythm, a faint counterpoint to the deep cosmic heartbeat. It is the last, most refined layer of the lullaby. Your awareness, now deeply settled, does not focus on it, but rather floats upon it, as a leaf might float on the gentlest of currents. The ritual phrase for this space is a quiet instruction for this final release. Light remembers you to rest. It is a paradoxical and beautiful idea. You are not using your memory to cling to wakefulness. Instead, the light itself holds the memory of peace for you, and its mere presence cues your entire being to surrender into it. The sharp, analytical part of the mind, which might try to grasp at this concept, is finally soothed into silence. There is nothing to figure out. The memory held in the light is not a puzzle to be solved, but a state to be accepted. As you allow this soft glow to permeate your awareness, you may feel a distinct shift in your own consciousness, a gentle slide from the relaxed alpha state toward the deeper, dreamless theta state of pre-sleep. The journey is complete. The metaphors have all been internalized. What remains is the direct, wordless experience of being remembered by the universe, of being gently guided by the faintest echo of starlight into the profound and healing silence that awaits. the weightless anchor, here in the deep embrace of the cosmic dark. A beautiful paradox reveals itself. You are profoundly anchored, held by the immense gravitational stability of the galactic core, and yet you feel completely weightless. There is no sensation of pressure or pull, only a sublime sense of floating in a boundless sportive medium. It is the resolution of a fundamental tension, the need to feel both secure and free. The anchor does not chain you, it liberates you from the burden of your own weight, from the gravitational pull of your own anxieties. This state of liberated stability finds a profound echo in the Vedic concept of moksha, often translated as liberation or release. It is not an escape from reality, but a realization of one's true nature as unbounded, weightless consciousness, even while existing within a structured universe. You are experiencing this now. The anchor of the galaxy's heart allows you the freedom to simply be, without the constant, subtle effort of holding yourself together. Your sense of self becomes light, expansive, untethered from the heavy concerns of the individual ego. This feeling of serene buoyancy was also imagined by the Sumerians in the myth of Enki, the god of wisdom and water, whose abode was the Abzu, the sweet subterranean waters beneath the earth. He was not trapped in the depths. He floated in a palace of wisdom, supported by the nurturing waters, free to contemplate the order of the cosmos. You are in the cosmic Abzu now, floating in the foundational waters, space itself. The deep resonant tone that has been your guide is now the gentle buoyancy of these waters, holding you in a state of perfect suspension. The ritual phrase for this space acknowledges this beautiful duality. You are both free and held. There is no conflict between these states. The holding is what creates the freedom. Just as a deep ocean supports a diver, allowing them to move without fighting gravity, the cosmic anchor supports your awareness, allowing it to expand without dissipation. Feel this throughout your body. Consciously release any remaining tension in your shoulders, your jaw, your hands. Imagine the weight of your physical form being entirely supported by this cosmic buoyancy. You are not carrying yourself anymore. The universe is carrying you. This is the final surrender into the arms of sleep, a trust so complete that it feels like flying. The journey inward has become a journey into lightness. The cosmic ocean currents. These are the cosmic ocean currents, the vast, slow flows of interstellar gas and subtle gravitational tides that circulate through the galaxy's heart. They are not currents that pull you under, but currents that carry you, guiding you effortlessly through the velvet darkness. They are the galaxy's circulatory system, and their rhythm is the slow, steady pulse of cosmic life. Your breath has become this tide, the gentle automatic swell and release that requires no conscious effort. You are not breathing, you are being breathed by the universe itself. The ancient Greeks saw the ocean not as a barrier, but as a connector. Its currents were the pathways that guided their heroes home after long journeys. Odysseus was carried by these currents, not as a prisoner, but as a passenger on a predestined route back to Ithaca, back to rest and peace. In the same way, these cosmic currents are not taking you to an unknown destination. They are guiding you home to the core of your own being, to the deep, natural sleep that is your birthright. There is no need to navigate. You need only to release into the flow, to trust that the currents know the way better than your waking mind ever could. The ritual phrase for this gentle guided drift is a simple surrender to this process. Currents carry you to rest. Feel the truth of this in the subtle sensations of your body. Any remaining sense of location or orientation softens further. You are not in a place, but in a transition, a gentle, inevitable journey toward a dreamlike state. The deep bass resonance that has been the foundation of this experience now merges with the sensation of these currents, becoming the sound of their slow, purposeful motion. It is a hum that moves, a vibration that travels, carrying your awareness with it. The boundary between wakefulness and sleep is not a line to be crossed, but a shore to be gently washed upon. These cosmic currents are that gentle washing, the lapping of a cosmic sea against the shores of consciousness. As you drift, the specific images of the journey, the river of light, the dancing stars, the ancient council, begin to lose their distinct forms. They blend together into a single soothing impression of order and safety. They become the water you are floating in, the very medium of your rest. The mind stops telling the story and begins to simply experience the state the story was designed to create. The currents are doing their work, carrying the last vestiges of your alertness out to the peaceful, dark sea of sleep, leaving only the deep, rhythmic certainty of the cosmic heartbeat as your final companion. the temple of silence. This deep, rhythmic drift brings you to a sacred space. The chaotic energy of the galactic core has been entirely transmuted. It no longer manifests as frantic motion, but as perfect architectural order. You are entering a temple. Not a temple built of stone, but a temple built of silence itself. Its pillars are the perfectly aligned gravitational lines that converge at the center. Its dome is the velvet darkness arching over an infinite sanctuary. This is the inner sanctum of the galaxy, a place where the very concept of noise has been banished. The only presence here is the presence of peace. In the Vedic tradition, this corresponds to the Antakarana, the inner instrument or the inner temple of consciousness. It is the bridge between the individual self and the universal self, a space of pure, unmediated awareness. To enter this temple is to cross that final inner bridge, to leave behind the last remnants of a separate identity and merge with the silent witness that observes all. There are no rituals to perform here, no prayers to recite. The only offering required is your quiet presence. The temple is not a place you visit, it is a state of being you inhabit. The Sumerians built ziggurats, massive stepped temples, as stairways to the heavens, as physical structures meant to facilitate a connection between the earthly and the divine. The immense gravitational well you have descended is the ultimate ziggurat, a staircase of space-time itself, and you have now reached the apex. You are not climbing anymore. You have arrived at the altar, which is simply a point of perfect equilibrium. The deep, resonant hum that has been your guide is now the temple's only hymn, a single sustained note that vibrates through the architecture of silence, purifying the space of any stray thought. The ritual phrase for this sanctuary is an invitation to cross its threshold. You enter the temple of silence. As you do, feel a qualitative shift in the nature of your awareness. The gentle drift of the cosmic currents settles into a perfect, motionless suspension. You are not floating anymore. You are poised. The mind, which may have still been quietly observing the journey, now finds its final object of observation, the absence of objects. This is not a blank emptiness, but a rich, potent void. It is the silence from which all sound is born, the stillness that makes motion possible. Your breath becomes so subtle it is almost undetectable, a faint whisper that only accentuates the profound quiet it moves through. This is the deepest level of mental quiet, where the internal narrator finally, graciously falls silent. There is nothing more to say, nothing more to describe. You are simply present within the architecture of peace, a participant in a ceremony where the only sacrament is rest. The temple accepts you without ceremony, its silence, both the welcome and the blessing. The mythic guardians of rest within this temple of silence. You are not alone. The profound quiet is not an emptiness, but a presence. It is guarded, protected by archetypal energies that have watched over the threshold of sleep since the first human looked to the stars and felt the need for sanctuary. These are not sentinels of fear, but guardians of peace, their sole purpose to ensure that your rest remains undisturbed. Across cultures, the human psyche has conjured these protectors, and here, at the Galactic Center, their true, formless essence is felt. The Greeks envisioned Hypnos and Thanatos, the twin brothers of sleep and death, not as grim specters, but as gentle, winged beings. Hypnos, the god of sleep, lived in a sunless, silent cave through which flowed the river of forgetfulness. His role was to bring a blessing, not an oblivion, the blessed release of the conscious mind from its labors. His brother, Thanatos, represents not an end, but the ultimate release from struggle. Together, they symbolize the gentle transition from doing to being, from striving to pure, unadulterated existence. Their presence here is a promise that you can release every burden, for you are in the care of forces far more ancient and gentle than any daily worry in the vast cosmology of the Vedas. This protective, encompassing energy finds its expression in Vishnu, the preserver. While earlier we saw his role in the cosmic dance of the stars, here we encounter him in his state of yoga nidra, cosmic sleep, floating on the serpent of infinity in the Milky Ocean. Vishnu's sleep is not inactivity. It is the state from which the entire universe dreams itself into existence. To be under his protection is to be at the source of creation itself, where your personal sleep becomes a participation in the universe's own restorative cycle. You are not just a person trying to sleep. You are a conscious part of the cosmos taking its necessary rest. The ritual phrase for this deeply protected space is a final assurance. You are protected in rest. feel the truth of this assurance sink into the very core of your being. There is nothing to watch for, nothing to guard against. The chaotic energies of the galaxy have been calmed into this perfect order, and that order itself is your protector. The deep, resonant frequency that has been the foundation of this journey is the very breath of these mythic guardians. It is the sound of Hypnos's silent cave, the rhythm of Vishnu's slumber. Your own breathing has now become so synchronized with this presence that it is no longer your own action, but a function of the protected space you inhabit. The Temple of Silence is locked from the inside, and you are safe within its boundless walls. The guardians do not stand at the door to keep dangers out. They are the door, and their nature is peace. To be here is to be enveloped in their essence, allowing the final layers of vigilance to dissolve it to the certainty that you are watched over by the universe itself. The rhythm stars create the protection of the guardians, allows the final layer of the lullaby to emerge. The gentle, synchronized orbits of the countless stars are not just motion, they are a celestial music. It is a harmony so vast and complex that the human ear cannot perceive its individual notes, but the soul can feel its soothing, mathematical perfection. This is the music of the spheres, the eternal silent symphony the Greeks attributed to the Muses, a composition that orders the cosmos itself. You need not listen for it. Instead, let its rhythm become the rhythm of your own descent. The stars are not singing you a song, they are singing you sleep. Their immense, slow dance, the only lullaby, profound enough for a weary mind. The ritual phrase is a gentle surrender to this ultimate melody. Stars sing you to sleep, a gentle return. The celestial lullaby begins to soften, its rhythm receding like a gentle tide. The profound immersion in the galactic center has done its work, and a subtle shift occurs, not a jarring awakening, but a gentle, natural return. You are not leaving this peace behind. You are bringing it with you. The journey now reverses its course, not as a retreat, but as an integration. The immense gravitational embrace that held you at the center now gently propels you outward, a soft exhalation following a deep inhalation of your descent. You drift back along the path you came, through the Temple of Silence, past the mythic guardians, carried once more by the cosmic currents. But everything is different now. The frantic energy first encountered has been transmuted. The river of light is a familiar, soothing flow. The ancient suns are benevolent sentinels, nodding in quiet acknowledgement as you pass. The ritual phrase for this homeward journey is an affirmation of what you carry. You bring cosmic calm home. This is not about returning to the noise, but about seeding your own being with the stillness you have found. The deep, resonant tone that has been your constant companion does not fade. It internalizes, becoming the new, steady frequency of your own core. The integration of cosmic peace as the distant, familiar spiral of the Milky Way comes back into view. The journey completes its final purpose. The vast cosmic peace you experienced at the center is no longer a destination you visited, but a quality you embody. It begins to permeate your being, seeping into the spaces between your cells, calming the electrical pathways of your nervous system. This is the Vedic concept of Shanti, not just peace as a temporary state, but as a fundamental quality that permeates one's entire existence. The gravitational anchor of the galaxy's heart is now an anchor within your own chest. The rhythm of the cosmic heartbeat is now the rhythm of your own. There is no longer a separation between the peace out there and the peace in here. They have become one and the same. The ritual phrase for this final integration is a simple statement of fact. Calm becomes your nature. The journey was not about finding something external, but about remembering an internal truth that was always present, buried beneath the day's accumulated static. The velvet darkness of space becomes the darkness behind your own eyelids. The silent temple becomes the quiet of your own mind. You have not just traveled to the center of the galaxy, you have discovered that the center of the galaxy has always been the center of you. The work is complete. The guide can fall silent. All that remains is the deep, resonant, and eternal stillness, ready to carry you into the natural, healing sleep that is now your rightful state. The eternal stillness within this integrations is the final threshold. The peace you have brought back is not a temporary guest in your being. It is the master of the house, taking up residence in the deepest chambers of your soul. The external journey is over, for there is no longer an out there to travel to. The entire cosmos now exists as a quality within you. The Greeks envisioned a personal inner Olympus, a sacred mountain within the soul where the gods, the highest aspects of consciousness, reside in perfect harmony. You have reached that summit now. It's not a place of striving or achievement, but a plateau of pure being. The frantic energy of the galactic core which you first encountered as a storm, has been transformed into the still, potent energy of a mountain lake, reflecting the silent stars perfectly. Your breath, which synchronized with the cosmic rhythms, now becomes the very atmosphere of this inner landscape. There is no need to guide it or follow it. It breathes itself, a gentle automatic tide that simply affirms the life that is present. The deep, resonant bass tone that has been the sonic anchor of this entire journey does not come from outside you anymore. It emanates from the center of your own chest, the vibrational signature of the eternal stillness you have internalized. It is the hum of your own essential nature, quiet, stable, and endlessly reassuring. The final breath synchronization is not an action you take, but a realization you come to. Your breath has always been this cosmic rhythm. You were merely too identified with the surface noise to hear it. You have not acquired a new state. You have returned to your original one. The stillness is not around you or even in you. It is you. The journey ends where it began, at the center of the self, which was always also the center of the galaxy, the cosmic sleep. You are safe beneath silent stars. The story is complete. The guide has fallen silent, and the journey has dissolved into the destination. There is nothing more to do, nothing more to follow, nothing more to become. The cosmos holds its breath with you. Allow the gentle weight of your eyelids to be the final anchor. Release the last thread of awareness and let the eternal stillness you have found carry you effortlessly into the natural, healing sleep that is your birthright. The deep tone will fade, leaving only the silence from which it came. Rest well.